Here's my audience. Okay. I always thought it was funny when people used to say that little girls dream of their wedding days, because I never actually even thought about it until I was proposed to last Thanksgiving. And then planning a wedding, there's so many things that go into it, but culturally, there's even more things that you have to think about. And for this speech, I chose to do Vietnamese culture because my fiance is Vietnamese. So I figured why not gain some knowledge on his traditions as well as provide some more information to others on a different culture and how they celebrate their wedding. Vietnamese weddings are not completely different from a standard American wedding, but they do have their own twist on how they celebrate. A few differences that I'll touch on are the proposal and the engagement, the tea ceremony, which actually doesn't involve any tea, and also the wedding ceremony. So within all cultures, weddings are definitely a time to celebrate. So let's get into the details on Vietnamese weddings. We will start with the ring, which is every girl's favorite part of getting married. The ring is usually bought by the groom's parents. Most guys save up their whole life to buy a ring for their future bride, but in the Vietnamese culture, the ring is bought by their parents. And so once that's done, they actually have to go and ask the bride's family about to have permission to marry her, and it's a must. It has to be done. It's not like an option like here. Some guys ask for the girl's hand in marriage, and it's kind of sometimes, but for the Vietnamese people, it has to be done. And then that's also the time that they unite and meet and gather around for the proposal. Also at that time, the bride, the groom's parents provide some gifts to the bride. Usually bracelets, necklaces, earrings, all of those are given to her. If for any reason the bride calls off the wedding, she has to give all of the gifts back. If for any reason the groom calls off the wedding, she gets to keep all of the gifts and the ring. So there's an engagement ceremony, and it's kind of just a big party. Everybody celebrates the engagement, sort of like they do for just a regular American wedding. Everybody has an engagement party, but it's kind of like a tea ceremony in the aspect of the clothing and what's done. And so we'll go into the tea ceremony, which is it's kind of a way to honor the bride's family by the groom. They usually pay for most of it. They bring a roasted pig that they set out on the table with a bunch of other feast items, and then they also bring more jewelry to the bride, and it's all wrapped in red wrapping paper, and it's like I said, bracelets, necklaces, earrings. They create an altar to honor the ancestors of each family. They put pictures up, and then the elders usually will pray to that altar. They have the tea, decorative tea stuff. They have all of the feast items. There's a pig. And then the tea, speaking of, it's not actually tea. It's alcohol. They put usually Hennessy or some other dark liquor in little pretty teacups, and they pass it around, starting with the elders, and they each take a shot. So it's not even any tea. So that would be the tea ceremony. And then next we'll talk about the actual wedding ceremony. The wedding ceremony is, the couple things that are different about it is the gifts. The gifts, Vietnamese people do not actually bring wedding gifts. Culturally, they bring money to the couple, and it's usually they usually bring a couple. They bring money for each person, that comes to the wedding. So let's say if it's a family of 5, then they all bring money for the couple. The groom's family also provides more jewelry for the bride at the wedding. They gift that to her during the ceremony. And then the clothing, the bride will wear a traditional Vietnamese wedding dress, and she will also change into a regular traditional American wedding dress. And the money, there's a picture of all the money, and then the red envelopes, that's key for a Vietnamese wedding. They bring the money in red envelopes. And red is, the significance of red for a wedding is that it's good luck. It means, they believe that the color red is gonna lead the couple to a rosy future. So those are all the different aspects of a Vietnamese wedding. And it's clear that they don't actually differ too much from the way American weddings are held, but they do have their own twists on how they do things. An engagement in the Vietnamese culture involves a lot from the groom's family, more so, and that's different from an American wedding, because usually the bride's family is the one that helps with planning the wedding and providing a lot of money for the wedding, but on the Vietnamese side, it's the groom's family that helps with that stuff. And it's important to understand different cultures and their own traditions. And after researching and talking with my sister-in-law, I realized that all weddings are basically about one thing, and it's the people that love each other and their families being united. Here's my audience again.